What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to be doing a tier list for all the characters currently out in Multiversus. Right now, the most recent character released was LeBron, and Rick and Morty have not been released yet. My highest achievement right now in the game is a top 2K player, and I'm going to be doing a tier list based around sort of a high level of gameplay. Basically, the rules for this tier list are I'm going to assume that every character is a top 5K player, so you're going to be in matchmaking with people that know what they're doing, they know their character's abilities. It's not just like a random 7-year-old playing Iron Giant pressing buttons. Also, this tier list is strictly for 1v1s. If you guys want a tier list for 2v2s, let me know in the comments and I can get one of those out. And with all that, let's get into the tier list. The absolute worst character in the entirety of the game, someone that you should not be playing. This is going to be a little bit controversial. Stick with me. I'm going with Taz. Now, this is after Taz got the huge nerf to his tornado. So his tornado is basically useless right now. Taz just doesn't have a kit that actually works well against anybody else in the game. Like, he doesn't have any good matchups. There's no character where you're playing them and you queue up against a Taz and you're like, oh, it's a really bad matchup for me. Everybody just queues against a Taz and they're like, okay, it's an easy win. I don't have lost to a Taz, period, since that patch came out where they nerfed his tornado. So right now I would say that Taz is the weakest character in the game. The second weakest character, another controversial pick, but remember, this is for ones specifically, not twos. This is for top 5K. Iron Giant is really garbage when people know what they're doing and how to play against him. I haven't lost to an Iron Giant in a very long time. Like, I queue up against an Iron Giant and I just think, okay, it's a free win, because he's a combo meatbag. Like, there's no dodging he can do, there's no movement abilities that can get him out of your attacks. You can just infinitely combo him for the entirety of the game, and there's nothing he can do about it. And if he does land hits on you, sure, he'll hit you a few times, but he doesn't really have any combos where he keeps you hit stunned for a long time, so you can always just recover out of it and then go back to attacking him. You can just sink attacks into Iron Giant and he'll go down at 200%. So Iron Giant's just really bad right now. That's going to be the only characters in the D tier though. I think that past this point, everybody is playable. D tier, these two characters, I would never play them in ones if you're actually trying to win. The A, B, and C tier are close enough that you can play anybody within these tiers and still have a really good shot. Like, the difference between A and B is not that big, and the difference between B and C is not that big. So C tier characters are still definitely playable. So for the bottom C tier character, I'm going to go with LeBron. LeBron is okay. I think he shines a lot more in 2v2s because he can pass his ball to his teammate, and then that buffs the ball up when he passes it back, so he has more damage and knockback and everything. But at the current moment in 1v1s, LeBron is just kind of really bad. If you lose his ball, if you miss the pass to bounce it off, or if you miss a dunk, or if you go for 3 and it misses, you don't have that ball for a while because you're playing off the cooldown, and realistically you're not going to hit the grab on somebody to get the ball back if the other player is good at all, because they know that you're sitting there without a cooldown and without a ball, and you're going to be going for a grab. So LeBron is just not very good in ones. I have seen some LeBrons play very well, but overall, he's just not a good character. Next up in the C tier, I'm putting Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has a very good all-around kit where she has a little bit of everything and she can play well. It's just that no part of her kit is especially great. She's just kind of good at everything with no great parts that stand out. Wonder Woman is definitely playable, but she's just kind of like a plain piece of white bread. She doesn't have much to her. She's very stale, ununique, and her abilities are very straightforward, kind of like Shaggy's, except Shaggy's abilities are actually good. Wonder Woman's are just kind of basic. Yeah, basic's a good word for it. Next up in the C tier, I'm putting Rain Dog. I have seen some good Rain Dog players. It's about an 80-20 split. 80% of Rain Dogs I play against are just a free win, and the 20% absolutely destroy me. Rain Dog can be played well, but their abilities are just not really standing out. They have a very projectile heavy playstyle, and there's too many characters in the game that projectiles are basically negated against them because they have abilities that can just play very well against projectiles. This doesn't mean you can't play Reindog well, and he does have some good matchups, but Reindog in general, he's very big and easy to hit. He's very easy to combo, and there's just not really anything great about him. His crystals basically get instant broken every time he throws one up. Any good player is just going to go hit it once and break it. So the crystal's not going to do much. The projectiles are very slow. So the projectile spammy playstyle that works really well in duos doesn't work in solos because people know how to play around it. Overall, Reindog is solid, but there's nothing about him that stands out, and he doesn't really have any good matchups. That's it for C tier though. I think moving on from this point, every character is really good. You can play anybody in B tier absolutely and play very well. E tier is still good in this game because personal skill level can make up for the lack of OP abilities in B tier. The lowest in B tier, I'm putting Steven Universe. He can make a wall, but the wall is very small and kind of hard to play around. So if he puts the wall down, He has a long cooldown on it, and then you can just like not go bounce off the wall 50 times. Like there's not really any strategy to using the wall, because as soon as you place it, the other player isn't going to take a fight next to that wall, so it doesn't do anything. There's this cheesy like bubble strategy right now where you go to the corner of the map when someone's off of it, and then you use the bubble and they can't get back up. But even then, any good player will go out and then use recovery ability and then go over. Like I've seen a lot of TikToks of like this bubble strategy, but realistically it's not really going to work. Steven's just, he's good, but you have to be really, really good with Steven to make him work. So I'm gonna throw him in B tier. The next B tier is gonna be Garnet. Garnet is another character like Wonder Woman with a very well-rounded kit. She's really straightforward, and she's got a good kit, and good Garnet players are pretty dominating. But she's a very big character and very, very easy to combo with basically everybody. Like realistically, Garnet is sort of a similar situation to LeBron or Rain Dog or Iron Giant, where they're just kind of a meat bag and you can combo them super easily. Garnet also isn't particularly heavy, so she will go off the screen relatively easily. There's not too much draw to Garnet. She's good in duos, but again, this is a 1v1 tier list. The next B tier character is Superman. Superman is annoying, but that doesn't make him OP. Too many people are getting caught up on like, oh, he grabbed me and threw me off, that's so OP. He's got an annoying grab ability, but realistically, it's not that great, especially in solos, because it's always very obvious when he's going for a grab, because he goes into that flying animation, and he's really slow in that flying animation, and his torque, his turn speed is really slow. So if you just jump over him, he can't like 180 and then go get you, because like he's in his flying mode and he can barely turn. So his grab move is super, super avoidable. His punches are annoying, again, because if he does his light attacks, he punches you for like 30 minutes. Like you can go get a snack and come back and he'll still you. But at the end of the day, when you finally get out of it, look at your health. You've taken like 12% damage. At the end of the day, Superman is not crazy good. In most games I play against Superman, I win. And then the last character in B tier, I'm putting Arya. Now, Arya is my main. I almost got to top 1k with Arya. I'm a couple games off. Arya, where her downside comes from is that she's the lightest character in the game. Like weight-wise, she's the lightest character in the game. So she's the easiest to get off the screen. You can be like 60% and then take a heavy attack and just get blown off the stage. She's so light to the point where she dies usually at around 100%. Whereas someone like Superman, you're gonna have to give him like 150, 160. So 2 lives with Arya at 200% health is like 1 life on Iron Giant. So you're very, very, it feels like you got debuffed going into the match because you're so light. Her combos are also hard to hit. I think Arya is the hardest character in the game, or at least tied for the hardest character in the game. I'll say who I think she's tied with later. But Arya's a very hard character to play well with and to win with. She doesn't do much damage with her combos. People are like, oh, her combos are so OP because she can juggle you forever. But then at the end of that juggle, she's kind of like Superman. She can do a really good combo, but the combo is very hard to perform. And then at the end of that combo, it barely does any damage. So realistically, you're going to have to be getting like 5, 6, 7 of those massive strings of combos to even kill somebody. Whereas as the lightest character in the game, you're going to be getting killed very easily. So Arya is not a great character. Too many people think her up slash is OP. It's really not. She's not even close to anybody in A or S tier. I think that there's a decently big difference between A and B tier. All of these characters are still good and you can still play them well, but you're gonna have to be good at these characters to beat anybody in A or S tier. The bottom of A tier, I'm putting Harley. Controversial, people think Harley is OP. The thing about Harley is that she's the second lightest character in the game behind Arya. So Harley's getting killed the second easiest in the game. Harley is still good. I do think Harley is very good. It's A tier. Anything from this point on is like meta. Harley is good. She has an infinite it's not hard to pull off, but it's not easy to pull off. So it's not like you can just go into a match using Harley for the first time and just destroy. Harley is very good, but you have to actually learn what you're doing to play Harley. You have to learn how the fireballs work. Not fireballs, there's little sticky bombs that light them up. You have to be able to get the ignitions on people after you actually light them up. If you just hit them with a fireball, it doesn't do anything. You have to actually go hit a 5-string combo to even ignite them. And then I do think she's got a really good KO with her up hammer, or up bat. That ability is really good for KOs. So I think Harley is rightfully in the bottom of A tier. Next up is Velma. I think Velma's hard to play. I don't think she's the hardest in the game, but she's still very hard to play. People are like, oh, her little speech bubble things aim for you. Where's the skill? those have a cooldown, and it's not one cooldown, it's an individual cooldown for each word bubble that you throw. So you have to wait a long time for all of the speech bubbles to come back before you can do the move that hones them in. And then even if you want to get the hone in on them, you have to hit the prerequisite ability, which is either the megaphone or the first speech bubble, to even get the targeted debuff on them to the point where your attack bubbles actually do something. So in the grand scheme of things, she's not like crazy OP because her speech bubbles zoom on her. I think she's a really good character, still definitely meta, but she's also harder to play than anybody that we've talked about so far besides, I would say, Arya. The next A tier character is Jake. I think Jake is really, really solid. If you want to main Jake, I don't think he will ever be bad. Like someone like Harley, they can nerf Harley and she'll be terrible. Someone like Superman, they can nerf Superman a lot and he'll be terrible. Jake will never be bad, no matter how much they nerf him, just because his kit is so well rounded, and he has, I think that Jake has the best zoning in the game. I don't think he's the best character, but he has the best zoning in the game, because if you think about it, all of these characters have like an optimal range where they work the best. Jake doesn't have some like sweet spot for his range. He can perform at any range, playing any character on any map. He's just such a good universal character, and he can play at any range because his zoning is so good. He has incredible recovery with his little horse ability where he can run across, like you can throw him into the top right corner and he uses his horse and then like lands in the bottom left corner. Like his recovery is crazy, and that's not even taking in his up special, which he recovers fully by stretching, and then if they even try to attack him, they get damaged because they hit his stretchy body. So his recovery is insane. He has a really good like get off me ability with his I don't know what button it is because I've changed all my binds, but the one where he like blows up into a bubble and bumps everybody off of him, and then you can set up combos with that really easily. His side special in the air, or his side light attack in the air, where he charges up the fist, that thing is crazy because of the range it has. His skateboard down is insane because the triple skateboard, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but just being able to consistently land that, and if you get even one, you're guaranteed the 3. Hit priority, if you guys didn't know, basically hit priority is if two characters are both doing an attack and they hit each other, which character's ability overpowers the other one. Someone like Arya has very, very low hit priority. Like any character in the game, if they attack at the same time as Arya, they'll push through Arya's attack, because partly because she's the lightest character in the game, but also just her abilities don't have hit prio. Whereas someone like Jake with that bubble ability, you have hit prio over everything. It doesn't matter what they're doing, what attack they're doing. If you bubble at the right time, you will take hit priority over them and break their ability and break their combo, whatever it is. So Jake is just crazy all-around character. I think Jake is one of the best characters in the game. Next is Batman. I think that Batman will get a nerf to his battering, which will push him behind Jake. But at the current moment, I think that Batman's ahead of Jake just because he's much easier to play than Jake. Batman's battering is broken right now. I don't think that anything else about Batman is broken, but his battering is very broken right now. Both of them, the one that explodes and the one that you can just spam over and over, the one that does a boomerang and comes back to you. Like his battering arsenal is crazy, and there's basically no cooldowns for them, so you can just spam them. It's hard to play ranged against him because you can throw the battering that does the boomerang so that it covers everything when it's coming back. And it's hard to play close range against him because his combos are so oppressive with his just like punching and kicking. He has really, really, really good recovery where he does like the wings and like floats down. Batman's just a really great all-around character. He also, if you have the grappling hook, you basically never die from getting hit horizontally off the stage because you can just grapple them and fly back to where they are. So his recovery is insane. And then his batterings are just broken right now. Also debuff you if they hit you, which I think is stupid. If they just took away the debuff, it would still be strong, but it wouldn't be broken. The debuff that he hits you with when he throws that battering at you, that he can constantly throw, is just too strong right now. The last character in A tier, I'm putting Tom and Jerry. I think that Tom and Jerry has the potential to be like S++++++. Nobody's truly like optimized their attacks. I feel like with all the other characters, people have figured out the best way to play them and, you know, the best like meta moves that they have. Tom and Jerry this is the person that I was talking about earlier that may be tied as the hardest in the game to play with Arya. I think Arya and Tom are both extremely, extremely hard to play. Tom and Jerry is hard to manage all the abilities. It's hard to manage your Jerry and set up combos. You basically set up like an NPC that will help you do combos, but it's hard to manage, and they're a finicky character with some of their hitboxes on their abilities and how their combos work. Overall, they're very, very strong and the good Tom and Jerry's that I've gone against have absolutely ran the stage with me. It's a different feeling going up against somebody that's really good with Tom and Jerry, but you do have to be very good to play Tom and Jerry because they're a hard character. Moving on to S tier, this is the meta, the absolute gross meta. Everything in S tier right now is overpowered. Anything under S tier, all of these characters, you can make an argument for moving them up or down a tier. Like if you were to say, I think Velma deserves B tier, and like you'd be able to argue that and have like some points. All of this can be argued to move up or down a little bit. Anything in S tier is extremely OP, extremely meta. All three of these characters are much better than anybody else on this list. This tier should honestly have like 3 tiers between it and A, because all 3 of these characters are so far ahead. Bottom of S tier, in my opinion, is Finn. Finn is still, like I said, way better than everybody else on this list. I want to keep stressing that because even though I'm putting like Finn in the bottom of S tier, he's still grossly overpowered and miles above everybody else on this list. He's extremely easy to play. I think Finn is probably the second easiest character in the game to play besides Shaggy. Finn's just, he's very straightforward. He's got some sort of skill ceiling to him, which I think makes him harder than Shaggy, because while Shaggy is just punches and kicks, he at least has like a teleport function to him and mechanic to him. You have to manage his coins, but the speed boots right now are so overpowered because they barely cost any gold, and that stays until you die. So you get a 10% speed increase until you die. That's insane. Even the speed increase perks, I'm pretty sure give you like 4% or 5. And that's when you're using a perk that takes up one of your slots. You can just buy a 10% increase in speed that lasts until you die. It's gross. Anyway, Finn also has gross hit prioritization over all of these characters, basically. Anytime Finn and somebody else are attacking, Finn's ability will go through and their ability will be broken, because his hit prioritization is just better than everyone else's. And that's not like a ping thing. Like, hit prioritization is an actual statistic per the characters in the files. So Finn physically has better hit prioritization than most characters in the game. He's just gross. All around, he's gross. There's not too much to talk about. He's a very straightforward character, very easy character, and just grossly broken. Next, I'm putting Shaggy. Shaggy, I'm only putting above Finn because he's easier. I think that both of them are the same amount of like power or whatever, or the same amount of goodness, but Shaggy's easier than Finn. All of Shaggy's attacks are just punches and kicks. There's nothing about him that's hard to learn. I think Shaggy's the easiest character in the game. There's a reason he's the tutorial character. They don't want to give you someone like Batman for your tutorial character, or Arya or Velma, where you have to like learn abilities. They just want to give you somebody that punches and kicks to make you understand the basic game mechanics, and then they can let you play multiplayer. So Shaggy is the easiest, most straightforward character, and he's just grossly overpowered. His kick, his like down sliding kick, is dumb at the moment that I'm recording this video. I don't know if they'll nerf it. I hope they'll nerf it. He can go Super Saiyan so quickly with that perk that gives him like faster charge time. It says something like drastically increases the charge time if you're holding a sandwich in your hand, and it's gross. You can literally hit somebody, and then when they're trying to recover, you can just insta charge it, and then you have the most overpowered attack in the game until you use it. And his combos are gross. He's just oppressive. He has insane hit prioritization, just like Finn. The only character that I'm putting above that I think is the best character in the game is Bugs. Argue with a wall, man. It's a very popular opinion, but there's still like a very niche group of people on social medias that are like inhaling copium and think Bugs takes a lot of skill to play. Bugs is so easy. He's very straightforward. The only thing that I can see making an argument for that's like difficult to play him is managing his cooldowns, because I think he has 4 different cooldowns for all of his different abilities. And sure, it's like hard to manage cooldowns, except it literally shows you where all your cooldowns are in big cartoony text right under your character. So it's not even like it's even a nuisance to manage them. You don't really have to have a brain to play Bugs. All of his combos are just dumb strong. He has crazy hit prioritization. His recovery is crazy. His safe is broken. His rocket ability is broken. His hammer is broken. His up slash, which is either a hammer or a bat, is just stupid. It does so much damage, so much knockback. You can KO people that are like at 60% if you just hit an up slash when they're in the air. And it's just, ugh, he's gross. I hate playing against Bugs. Above all else on this list, Bugs is the most annoying character to play against. Not only because he's the most overpowered, but because his abilities are just the most oppressive. Like, it's so hard to play around this character. And I mean, if you're a Bugs main, I hate playing against you, but you're abusing it while it's strong. I get it. He is getting a nerf. That's confirmed. They've already said that they're nerfing Bugs. in the next update, which I think is when the game goes public or like comes out officially, which is in like 4 days or something. But bugs is just extremely broken. That's gonna be all for this video. If you guys agree with it, disagree with it, have any changes that you think should be made, let me know in the comments down below. I'm actually really interested to hear it, and I will gladly go back and forth in the comments for like a 10 comment chain talking about it because I'm interested in it. I expect to see you guys in here next stream. Hey, Storm's got a point. You guys should drop by the Twitch streams. The link will be in the description of this video. If you guys want to be in the next YouTube video or just kind of want to watch the grind, I've been playing a lot of Multiversus recently, and there's probably a lot more to come, especially when the game goes public. There's so much potential in this game for new characters. I'm gonna say right now, when Raven from Teen Titans comes out, I'm never touching another character. Or if Gumball and Darwin come out, I'm never touching another character. If you guys want more Multiversus content, let me know. And let me know if I should make a video ranking the easiest to hardest characters in the game, because I think that would be pretty fun too. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.